Hello, good afternoon sa inyong lahat. Uh, Before we start, gusto ko munang batiin ang ating birthday celebrant ngayon. Happy birthday, Doc Matt. Andiyan ka, nakita kita eh. Doc Matt, happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Isang maulan na birthday sa'yo. Ramdam namin yung presensya dahil malakas na ulan. Ayan. Doc Matt, any words? Nandiyan ba? Nandiyan ba si Doc Matt? Wala yata si Doc Matt.
Wala yata siya.
Okay. Good afternoon sa inyong lahat. Good afternoon. Very important yung topic natin. Actually, this is second This is second part 2 ng ating course manager tsaka course anong tawag dito? Yung para sa coordinator. So dalawang role ang binigay sa sa atin. Actually, may teacher's role para sa mga teachers. Ngayong araw, actually, meron ng record na yung last time. At you can view naman yung last time. So, I request na mag-train ulit si Sir Junior, particularly dun sa course manager role. Actually, yung course manager role, kay Mato at saka kay ang pangalan ito kay Merlin, yun yung role ng dalawa na si course manager role kasi very important for them kasi last time hindi sila naka-attend very important for them to actually extract data sa mga teacher na ma-open nila lahat the entire course ng teacher kasi may mga limitation din dun sa role na binigay din sa coordinator. I think siguro it's about time na rin kasi sayang din ang pagkakataon I invite also the coordinator para may mga ibang coordinator hindi naka-attend last time para magbigay din si Sir Junard ng mga points, ng mga tips kung paano i-maximize yung kanilang role. Kasi may special function din ang mga coordinator na they can also view yun sa mga teachers na nasasakop nila. At at the end of this day, pwedeng you can test, pwedeng aralin at magbigay ng feedback dun sa mga teachers na hindi umaten, for example, dun sa mga role na yan. So, yun po. I think, Sir Junard, ano yung mga topic na i-discuss natin ngayon?
Good afternoon, sir. So yung mga topics, I'll just run through po. Yung how to access for course coordinator role, there are several reports na pwede nilang ma-access to check like yung mga activities ni teacher, like how many times siya nagla-login, ilan yung mga napopost niyang activities, ilan yung nabibuse niya. Then for manager role, we'll discuss yung access dun sa mga users, then sa courses.
Di ba sa manager can also maka-enroll din, di ba?
Yes, sir.
Courses,
Makakapag they could create accounts for teachers. Let's say may mga new teachers na na-add na na-add or na-hire. Pwede sila mag-create ng account. They could add students dun sa existing courses or they could add teachers dun sa existing courses. There are changes. So right now, yun lang yung possible na pwede nilang gawin since most ng mga additional functionality medyo advanced dun sa backend nung tblhub natin. I'll be showing muna yung TBL coordinator, just to pressure yung sinabi ni Sir Endix na pinakita net na to before on how they could access yung mga reports na yon. I remove yung mga reports kung makikita nyo nung second semester parang nawala yung mga reports na yon kasi we're having some performance issue last time. Then based dun sa stats na nakukuha namin, those reports are consuming a lot of resources kasi nga it generates yung statistics for every courses. So nagkakaroon ng performance issues kung nare-recall nyo nung second semester na sometimes down yung natin, tblhub natin. So some part of the reports disable natin para mag-improve yung performance ng tblhub. So I'll be sharing my screen. Yung first part will be for the tbl coordinator. Then the second part will be yung tbl manager role. So for tbl manager role, most ng mga members na may role nito is tblhub lead member, then including sila Merlin and Matthew. Okay. So I'll share my screen. Then let me know po kung nakikita nyo po yung screen ko.
Okay. Kita naman, sir.
Okay. So for tblhub coordinator role, once you log in, ang difference niya lang naman po dun sa teacher role is yung additional menu sa right side. So normal, we have for teachers, you have yung normal na menus which is yung dashboard, site home, calendar, private files, content back, my courses. So it's look the same. Ang difference lang is you have access for site administration. So for coordinator, you'll see this kung nakalagin kayo right now, if you see site administration menu sa account nyo, that means na you have assigned as a tblhub coordinator role. So what can you do as a tblhub coordinator? Additional functionality that you could do is you could manage courses and categories. Meaning you could create new courses. Let's say you want to create some test courses na you want to try different things, or let's say magme-mentor kayo, you don't want to use yung mga existing courses na nasa dashboard nyo since possible na magulo. You want just to create a test course para meron kayong you could try to explore. Pwede nyo pong gawin dito yan as tblhub coordinator. So as tblhub coordinator, once you create a course, kayo lang po yung magkakaroon ng access dyan. So parang you have the capability to create courses. So usually kasi yung courses natin by the start ng semester, kine-create na namin by default to. So if you just want to test something na you don't want to use yung mga existing courses nyo, you could create by clicking site administration, manage course and categories. Then you have yung create new course dun sa may top right. So meaning you could create courses. Normally when you're creating courses, it only requires you to put two data, yung full name, parang yung course name, then yung short name. So normally sa short name, it's just parang yung short code ng course eh. Then assign it dun sa course category. So right now we have summer. If we're creating test courses, lagay nyo na lang siguro sa TBL courses kung mag-create lang naman kayo ng test courses. So parang same thing when you're editing yung mga courses nyo for or yung parang background ng courses. So ito rin po yung ano na yun, yung page na yun. This time blank page lang siya when you're creating test courses. So I'll just go back to site administration to show you other things na pwede nyong ma-access. So let's, as a table hub coordinator po, you have access to all courses. Meaning access, you have the option to view kung ano yung mga laman ng courses po. Yeah, you don't have any means to edit or to update yung course natin. So parang view lang po siya. Let's say you want to check something sa course ni teacher. Check natin. You have yung search bar sa baba. Para mas madali po yung searching nyo, if you know the CFN, you just put yung CFN kasi ito yung unique value para mas madali yung searching. Pag hindi naman, you could type pa rin yung course code or yung course name. So when you click yung go, you'll be provided yung results. Then just click yung results. Then you have yung option to view. So from this, I think walang update si teacher. Let's find different. Makita natin. Let's check. So normally, pag chine-check nyo yung, let's say nag-search kayo, di ba? As tblhub coordinator to check kung may laman or may updates yung certain courses. Pag nakita nyo po yung topic formats like this one, general topic 1, 2, 3, 4, which is yung default. Meaning, etong hina-highlight ko. Normally, pag nakita nyo to as a result, meaning there's no update. Kasi ito yung default na display ng courses natin when we start creating adding content, di ba? So may topic 1, 2, 3, 4 tayo by default. Then we have announcement forum sa pinaka-top. So let's see kung may laman niya. So it's the same. So parang ayun. By looking pa lang dun sa parang preview niya, makikita nyo na if there's changes or there are content dun sa pinaka courses ni teacher. So let's find different one. Hirap. No. CCS.
Meaning, Leonard, pag yung merong silang teacher, ang basic information na tatanong, ano yung CFN number nila?
Yes, sir. Yun kasi yung unique eh. It much easier na mag-search by unique eh. So, kung hindi naman sila familiar dun sa CFN, they could still search dun sa course name. Kaya lang, syempre, by course name, possible na mas marami yung ma-return na results. Since yung results natin doesn't display kung sinong teacher yung may hawak ng courses eh. So by going dun sa CFN, sigurado na kayo, yun yung courses na sinesearch nyo. Kasi yung CFN natin is unique dun sa course eh, or dun sa subject. So if you're kung kabisado lang nung kung may list sila ng mga CFN na assigned sa college nila. So better na meron sila nun para mas madali yung searching nila kung kanino naka-assign yung certain course. So ito po yung sample ko. Kung sample, if you see, malalaman nyo na may changes dun sa courses kasi you'll see yung mga different topics under nung course. Yung default yung nakita natin kanina, which is topic 1, 2, 3, 4 lang. So this time naman, kung makikita nyo yung sections, you have multiple sections, hindi na topic 1, 2, 3, 4. Then, if you're going to look dun sa modules used, makikita nyo na si teacher use several modules, hindi lang forum. Teacher also uses file, page, and URL po to create yung courses niya. So, if we view yung content ni teacher, so makikita nyo rin po yung pinaka-content. It's the same thing dun sa parang pinaka-overview when you do yung search. So dito pa lang makikita nyo na yung ano. So yung role assignments din, makikita nyo rin kung ilan yung teacher, ilan yung students, ilan yung non-editing teacher. So by looking at this overview, you'll have the idea kung may update ba na siniset si teacher. Okay? So, if you view, you'll have viewing access dun sa pinaka-course ni teacher pero you don't have editing options. So, yung editing options natin normally nandito sa pinaka-top eh. Yung edit button. Pero you have the option to check yung mga participants ni teacher. No access to grades. Sa participants lang yata inallow yung access. So you have access to participants pero you can't add. So makikita nilang yung list ng participants ni teacher. Pero you don't have the access to add as a course coordinator. Okay? Then, so yun yung capability that you could do as a tblhub coordinator. You have access dun sa courses. Then you could view yung content ng courses natin. Another thing that you could access as a tblhub coordinator is by going dun sa site home. Then on the right side, so normally ito yung view nyo as teacher or a hub coordinator. You have yung arrow dun sa right, you just expand this one. Then you have access dun sa configurable reports. So sa configurable reports po, you have yung class activity, class participants, and monitoring. So for class activity, normally it shows yung statistics on a certain course po. Let's say kung ilan yung activities na napopost ni teachers, ilan yung mga activities na binubyo ni teacher na di-display po dito sa class activity. Sa class participants naman, normally just sa class size, kung ilan yung students and ilan yung faculty sa isang certain course. Sa monitoring naman po, sa monitoring is statistics for how many times na nagla-login si teacher sa platforms, ilan yung pinopost na activities niya, ilan yung binubyo na activities niya. So, again, to access these reports as tblhub coordinator, you just go to site home, then just expand yung section sa right side. So, let's go for sa class activity. Again, an advice lang po, when you're accessing reports, better to access it dun sa times na you think na hindi ganun ka-traffic yung site natin, let's say early morning or at the end of the day, para hindi kasi it will consume resources kasi once you access yung mga configurable reports na to. So normally it will takes time kasi normally query yung courses natin to get yung statistics na to. So it depends dun sa processing ng server natin kung gaano kabilis or gaano katagal niya ipaprocess yung reports na to. So sometimes few minutes, sometimes just a seconds. So ito po yung class activity. You have sa class activity, you have filters para you could easily filter it by category. So you have yung options to filter yung mga courses. Then you have option to filter it by date range. Let's say you just want a certain week para ma-check kung ilan yung na-post ni teacher or ilan yung views ng students dun sa certain course na to, pwede nyo pong gawin. Let's say from June 1 until July, then that's second semester. So makikita nyo po rito yung reports. So sa report natin, you'll have yung CFN, yung course name, course code, then yung student views, how many students views your courses. So makikita nyo po yung stats. Then ilan yung post ni teacher as activities. So makikita nyo po rito yan. So to verify, let's say kung may makita kayong mababang number to check kung may content bang pinupost si teacher, again, you just get the CFN, then you go to site admin, then just search po yung course na so may post naman si teacher, if you see kasi yung topic formats niya. So yun po. So that's yung class activity. So it will show you yung number of views and teacher posts po for a certain course. Again, to verify, you go to course manage and categories po. So it doesn't mean na zero yung post kasi sometimes teachers, they already created yung, let's say may mga teachers na multiple yung courses na hina-handle. Then sometimes they just import yung one content from one course to another course. Normally, pag nag-i-import kasi ng content from one course to another course, it doesn't count as a stat dun sa certain course. So if you see zero, make to verify talaga kung zero or walang content yung is to view yung certain course na yun. So class participants report, so parang ngayon nga lang po yung number ng students to check para you could compare it dun sa class list nyo. Kasi sometimes yung class list natin, mapapansin natin sometimes na magkaiba yung official class list dun sa class size nyo dun sa tblhub. Kasi what we do nung second semester is we uploaded yung mga student data kahit hindi pa sila officially enrolled. Like parang encoded pa lang, we already uploaded yung data nila since sobrang konti nung officially enrolled that time eh. So para makapag-start ng class si teacher, we decide, yung management decided to upload na yung student record even na hindi pa siya officially enrolled or as encoded lang. So dito po makikita nyo if how many students are enrolled dun sa certain course. So by looking pa rin dun sa CFN, makikita nyo po rito yan. Then kung ilan yung teacher role na naka-assign for a certain CFN, nandito rin po yan. Then you have pa rin the option to filter by course categories. Then you could also set yung filter by start date and end date. So ito po yung access dyan. Then yung last report that you could access is yung monitoring. So if you want to check if your teacher is logging in sa platform natin, you have this report, yung monitoring. You have yung list ng names ng teachers natin, yung mga users na may teacher role. So nandito po yan. So you have yung last name, first name, email, then yung how many times na nag-login sa platform, kailan yung last access nila, ilan yung activities views and activity post. So nandito po yan. So if you want to check within a certain date range, magagawa nyo po rito yan. Let's say by June 1 hanggang July, sino yung mga nag-access, yung number of so makikita nyo po dito. So makikita nyo rin kung kailan last na nag-access si teacher by looking dun sa last access po. Then yung how many times na nag-login siya sa platform during June 1 up to July 23 po. So makikita nyo po dito yan. Then kung ilan yung activities na na-views niya, na activities na na-post niya within this certain date range, makikita nyo rin po yan. Okay, so additional for monitoring. So it doesn't mean po na naka-zero yung login sa platform. It doesn't mean na hindi possible kasi na hindi naglalagin si teacher sa tblhub pero he's doing synchronous teaching, like may mga nagtuturo siya through Zoom video or Webex. So hindi kasi mare-record dito yan eh. So additional lang to, parang additional para ma-check if teacher is accessing. It doesn't mean na hindi nagtuturo si teacher. You still need to check pa rin yung courses niya kasi sometimes may mga teacher na they will upload yung, let's say pag yung teacher naturo niya na yung certain course, then may copy na siya nung course na yun. Normally i-upload niya na lang yung content niya the first week ng start ng semester eh. So sometimes hindi na siya maglalagin dun sa mga succeeding week kasi uploaded na lahat ng content ni teacher. So may possibility na ganun na pag niran nyo yung report within a certain date range, possible na zero yung login ni teacher sa platform. Pero if you check yung courses ni teacher, may mga laman kasi possible na during nung first and second week, ginawa niya na lahat ng course content niya. So ang ginagawa na lang ni teacher possible is nag-check from time to time. Let's say may mga assignments siya na pinapapasa. So teacher need to check yung mga assignment na pinapasa ni student. So possible na maglalagin siya sa platform. So may possibility na mababa yung stats si teacher dito pero yung pinaka-course content na is marami naman. So possible na mag-conflict if you're checking na parang ang baba ng login si teacher, parang hindi siya naglalagin within a certain date range. Pero if you check yung content niya, kompleto naman. I mean, from topic 1 to topic 10, meron siya. So, additional stats lang po to check para you have basis. Kung, let's say, walang laman talaga yung courses niya, then tinignan niyo yung login sa platform within a certain date range, wala rin laman, then yung activities view 0, yung post 0. So, that's the time na pwede nyo siyang i-plug na wala siyang nilalagay na content sa tblhub or hindi siya naglalagin sa tblhub talaga, or baka may ginagamit siyang ibang platform na hindi na-inform sa inyo, or let's say gumagamit siya ng other LMS. Kasi may other teachers pa rin na they still uses other LMS platform na familiar na sila. So para at least magkaroon kayo ng idea bakit nasisiro siya sa stats, pag gine-generate ni Ma'am Era yung mga reports, nasasama yung name ni teacher, pwede nyo makita rito in advance kung paano na-generate yung report ni Ma'am Era. So dito rin po yun. As tblhub coordinator po, you have access to these reports po by going to site home, then configurable reports. If you have questions po, you could start asking questions po before we proceed dun sa manager role. So as hub coordinator po, ito yung mga additional functionality that you could access to provide you yung course content, stats dun sa mga login sa platform, activities, views, post ni teacher. So if you have questions po, pwede na pong mag-ask before we go dun sa course manager role for TBL lead member po.
Junard.
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon po. Good afternoon, teachers. Sir, tanong ko lang, yung stats ba na generate na sa TBL Hub natin, pwede siyang i-download or pwede siya i-print, no? Will it be possible, yung feature niya? Kasi medyo hindi ko makita dahil naka-ano lang ako. Naka-tablet lang, medyo mahina maliit yung speed ko. Possible ba siya? Tapos ang format niya is either CSV or Excel, parang ganun po. Ask ko lang po. Thank you.
Yung reports po natin, pwede po siyang i-download as XLS format po. Doon sa below nung results, you have yung option to download report po. Click nyo yung
Okay, sir.
XLS,
Thank you.
then it will now download yung XLS format. So it still will depend yung speed ng download natin, kung gaano kalaki yung table na query ni tblhub.
I see. Sir, another follow-up question then. With regards with the monitoring, meron ba siyang feature ba yan sa TBL natin, especially for those who are under ng as coordinator? Pwede siya yung meron siyang parang notification, something like will give info sa teachers, sa coordinator mismo kung ano yung status ng yung status ng lahat ng naka-enroll under ng coordinator na yun, sir. Will it be meron po ba siyang feature na gano'n?
Right now, sir, walang ganong features na mag-check nung
Okay.
certain status. So these are additional reports lang para you have basis para ma-check kung gumagamit ba si teacher nung tblhub LMS natin or gumagamit ng other LMS or
okay.
or more on synchronous si teacher.
Okay,
So
sir.
parang
Thank you, sir.
additional info lang siya para they could add dun sa checking niya.
Kasi most probably baka hihingin din sa amin ng department niya. Isa sa mga isasubmit namin if ever na reports. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. If no more questions, I'll proceed na po dun sa course coordinator, course manager role po. So some of you won't have this access po. Normally tblhub lead member lang yung may access sa manager role, since it will add additional pages sa site administrations. Manager role will have access dun sa list of users, faculty and students. Then as a manager, they have yung option to edit courses, like add participants, create course categories. Syempre, pwede rin sila mag-create ng course, then assign students and faculty dun sa certain course po. So I'll just log out, then log in as course manager. So it's still the same po yung itsura niya. You have yung site administration, kaya lang this time site administration po, sa course manager role, you have several new links na pwedeng ma-access. So kung sa coordinator, ang na-access lang natin is yung courses tab, then yung manage course categories. So for manager role, you have several pages or several functionality that you could access po. So before we proceed dun sa courses, we'll start muna dun sa users po. For users, sa manager role, you have the option to add new user. So pwede kayo mag-add ng new user. So lahat nung may mga red circle, it means na it is required. So normally username, password, first name, surname, email address lang naman po yung required dyan. So if there's a new faculty na wala pang account as a manager role, pwede nyo pong i-add dito. Yung faculty just need to provide yung email address niya. Pero normally, start of semester, pag may mga new faculty tayo, Kevin from ITC already creating yung mga accounts na yun. Since mag-start sa kanila yung creating accounts by creating yung email address ni teacher. So, once na-create yung email address ni teacher, kine-create na rin namin yung account dito sa tblhub. In case lang na may mga teachers na during semester na na-hire, yun yung mga possibility na pwedeng i-add ni course manager yung mga accounts nila. Sa students naman, if may mga students na wala dun sa list of users natin, pwede rin i-add ni course manager dito. So again, ang required field to add new user is yung username, first name, surname, email address, then password. So yung password natin must contain at least 1 digit and 1 uppercase letter po. So yun yung requirement to set a password. So parang something like when you're editing yung profile nyo lang din po yung itsura nung page na to when you're creating new content. Then browse lists of users. So currently ito po yung mga list of users natin sa tblhub. Some are active, some are not kasi possible yung iba drop na. Currently we have 5,704 users including na yung teacher and students po rito. So let's say as course manager, let's say may mga concerns si students like hindi sila maka-access, hindi nila ma-access yung certain assignments ni teacher. One way to check is by logging in mismo dun sa account ni student. So normally when I'm debugging certain issues related sa tblhub, I normally log in using their account para ma-check kung hindi talaga na-access. Or let's say si teacher may issues like hindi siya makapag-add ng sections or hindi makapag-upload One way to check as course manager or to debug is by hindi logging in dun sa existing account ni teacher. So, what you do is you just from dun sa browse list of users, you have the filter button. If you want to filter by certain criteria, you just click yung show more. Makikita niyo po dito. You could filter by first name, username, kung familiar kayo sa mga usernames na to. Then, if you want to filter by course role, like let's say by teacher, pwede din pong gawin dito yan. Department, let's say CCS, pwede niyo pong i-search dito. So say I'll search dun sa name, then makikita niyo po dito yung list ng results. Sa list ng results, you have the option para ma-access yung profile ni certain user. Dun sa results po, once you see na yung names nung certain student or certain teacher na you want to view yung profile, or let's say may issues siya regarding dun sa courses niya, as a manager role, can open yung profile niya, then you'll see yung mga courses under nung profile niya. You could send a message, add them as a contact. Makita niyo yung list of courses na currently tinuturo ni teacher, or makita niyo yung list of courses na currently naka-enroll si students. So dito niyo po makita sa courses tab. Then sa details, you'll have yung details niya kung kailan siya last nag-login, info, kung ano yung mga course details niya. Then ito po yung sinasabi ko, as course manager, you have yung option to login as para ma-replicate niyo yung issue ni student or ni teacher by going to their account po. So currently I'm logged in as dun sa tblhub coordinator role ko kanina. So you could now access yung mga courses to check kung let's say sabi ni teacher or sabi ni students hindi sila makapag-upload, hindi nila ma-access yung certain assignment. So baka possible there is a settings issue, bakit hindi makapag-upload si student or may mga restrictions na inad si teacher. So possible po na you could check by going to their courses. So one way as a course manager to debug yung issue ni students is by looking dun sa courses, then by checking yung mga settings na yan. Okay, so I'll just log out, log in. So yun po, as a course manager, you have the option to go for bulk user actions po. So you could create reports or download reports by, let's say you want to get yung pwede natin create na report. Yung mga first or yung last access or yung mga never access na lang. Yung never pang nag-access nung tblhub nila. Then add filter. Then makikita niyo yung list ng mga names na never pang nag-access nung tblhub. Then all you have to do, so makikita niyo yung number 1043, then you just add to selection. Then you have now the option to, as course manager, you have yung option to send a message, pwedeng mag-download, pwedeng i-display nyo sila sa page para makita nyo yung mga names nila, or pwede nyo i-download as an Excel format. So ito po yun. So as a course manager, you have the option to do this bulk actions po. So let's say download or display na lang. It will now display yung results dito sa ano natin, page natin. So parang list, parang magka-create siya ng listing dun sa page natin. So by going dun sa bulk user actions. So you can modify pa rin yung mga filters. So let's say you want to search for a certain names, pwede rin po yan as a course manager po. So another thing na pwedeng gawin ni course manager is by going dun sa courses natin. So sa manage course and categories, as a course manager, you have now yung button for creating new categories. Pero again, normally by start of semester, kine-create na ng ITC and me yung mga categories na yan. So right now wala, since magi-start pa lang tayo for new school year per semester, so wala pa. So yung mga recently na inad namin yung summer categories. So para we could easily identify kung ano yung mga courses under that categories. Like ano yung mga courses na kinreate under summer 21. So makikita nyo po rito sa right. Once you click yung categories, makikita nyo na rito sa right side kung ano yung mga summer courses under COA Summer 2021 po. So let's say lang na may mga additional categories na requested, as a manager, course manager, you have yung option to create that. Then same thing sa coordinator, you have pa rin yung option to create new courses. So same thing nung pinakita ko kanina dun sa coordinator role. So you just need to provide yung full name and short name to create a new course. Ang difference lang nila ngayon is as course manager, kanina you just have yung option to view. Kung coordinator yung role mo, view lang yung nagagawa nyo. As manager, you have yung option to enroll user. Pwede kayo mag-back up and restore. Let's say may mga certain courses na hindi ma-access ni teacher, like from first semester. May mga times kasi na hindi na-access ni teacher yung mga hidden courses before. As manager role, pwede kayo mag-backup and restore for them. Then you could enroll user. Let's say may changes sa teacher. Let's say nilipat yung course from one teacher to another teacher. Pwede niyo pong gawin dito yan. So you could enroll teacher, or you can enroll students po. So, or non-editing teacher as a course manager. Then again, you still have the option to view yung courses natin. Then you have the option to check yung settings ng course check yung settings ng mga widget. So before you start editing, make sure na familiar kayo or alam niyo yung na wag mag-remove dun sa current existing na content ni teacher. Just need to check yung mga settings. Just click yung edit settings po. Make sure na wala kayong i-delete or ano. When you're debugging things na related dun sa issue ni teacher. Like hindi ma-view ni students or hindi makapag-post si teacher. So yun po yung difference nila. As a course manager, mas maraming functionality that you could do when accessing courses. You have the option to check yung settings, enrolled users like students and teacher. Then you have the option to modify yung content. So that's it. Yung mga other pages, advanced na to, we don't usually, a manager don't have access on this tabs, like yung mga appearance, server reports, development, plugins, they don't have access on this. So if a teacher have requested plugins, normally dinideliberate pa ng tblhub lead member yan if pwede siyang gamitin, or if it's free, pwede namang i-check, then pwedeng install yung mga plugins na yan. If you know plugins na it will help in building courses para sa mga teacher, just email yung or you could message Sir Ndix or email yung tblhub lead member if you want some plugins na you want to install dun sa tblhub natin. So under ng courses pa rin, you have yung access pa rin po dun sa mga logs. Let's say kung you want to check yung logs ng certain course, pwede nyo pong i-access yan as manager role. Kasi you have na yung access dun sa settings. So when you click more, makita nyo na rin po rito yung mga reports like activity report, course participation, activity completion, statistics. So makita nyo po dito yan. As course manager, you have access on this, yung mga reports na normally mga teacher lang yung nakaka-access dun sa certain course. So ito po yung mga, if you enable yung course completion, makikita nyo na rin po rito, yan as course manager po. Parang the same thing, makikita nyo rin yung mga reports, statistics or charts kung yung activities na ginawa. Let's say for a certain period, makikita nyo kung ilan yung activities na kinrate ni teacher. Makita nyo po rito yan. Then kung ilan yung activities na ginawa ni students. So then if you want to check kung ano yung mga activities na yan, you have yung access sa course logs. So sa course logs po, mas detailed kung ano yung mga activities na kinrate ni student or ni teacher po. So makikita niyo po rito yung details na yan. Like submissions, ano yung mga activities na pinost ni teachers, makikita sa logs. So to access that, if you want to check, you go to, sa mga teachers po may mga access sila dito since they have access dun sa courses by going dun sa settings icon dun sa top right. When you're on your course page, you click yung settings icon sa top right, then you just click more. Then under course administration, then andito po yun, yung reports. So dito nyo makikita yung mga activities, course participation, activity completion statistics. Yung mga live logs, yung mga logs, dito nyo po makikita. You could also download this report. So yun po yung makikita nyo yung mga logs. So normally, yung logs, it helps us to identify, let's say may mga cases kasi na may mga cases this past semesters na nawawala yung mga students ni teacher. So dito namin ina-identify kung ano yung cause ng issue, bakit nawawala yung mga students ni teacher. May mga issues kasi na may nare-remove ni teacher yung mga students, may nakiklik siya mga buttons na nagre-remove ng students. So by looking at the logs, mapakikita namin kung may ginawang actions si teachers for removing yung mga certain students na yan. So dito namin na-identify by looking kung ano yung mga actions na tinake ni teacher bago nangyari yung mga issues na yun. So dito namin siya chine-check. Hindi lang siya ganun ka masyado siyang detailed, pero since most of the time tinitingnan namin itong mga logs na to, medyo nagiging familiar na rin kami kung ano yung mga possible na nagkakos ng mga issues ni teacher. So ito po yan. Sobrang haba nitong mga logs na to. Then you have the option to download para makita kung ano yung mga activities na created for a certain date, certain week. So dito nyo po maano yan. So yung mga reports na yan is downloadable into Excel format. So as course manager role po, yun yung mga additional functionality that you could do. You have access to users, then you have access to courses. Again, some of the tabs, manager don't have access on this. Very minimal lang yung mga access niya dito sa mga tabs na to. So more likely, as manager, just go sa users and courses po na tab. Since most of the time, sa courses naman, mostly na mga concerns, then sa users, let's say may mga hindi pa na-add or may mga newly hired or may mga newly enrolled na wala pa sa list of existing users natin. So, if you have questions po, you could start asking questions na po. Then kung wala na po, that's the end of discussion natin. So let me know po kung may mga questions kayo for coordinator or manager role po. Ano lang po, yung manager role is for tblhub lead member lang as of now. If may mga coordinator naman na mabibigyan ng manager role, it's good para you have access to different functionality. So let me know po if you have questions, and then I'll try to answer po kung possible naman. Thank you po. Hi Sir Hendix, tapos na po yung for manager role. If you have something to add po, you could start na po.
Sir Junior, may question po.
Yes sir.
paano po yung halimbawa, if ever lang po na mangyari? For
Yes, sir.
example, if faculty na hire, tapos bigla siyang nag-resign. Siyempre yung credentials, paano yung credentials yun? Mapapalitan ba yung credentials yun? Or dapat ibigay nung nag-resign na teacher yung credential niya doon sa sa bagong kapalit niya? If ever na maibibigay, yung naka-plug, ano bang term yun? Yung nakalagay ba na credentials ay email ng faculty po? Kasi di ba sir, kapag halimbawa forget password, baka kasi sir mapunta dun sa nag-resign na teacher yung yung forget password. So paano yung ma-access nung kapalit niyang teacher? If ever lang sir kung mangyari.
Yes, sir. Yung scenario na ganyan, sir, let's say si teacher 1 nag-resign during middle of semester, then may newly hired na papasok. So normally, we don't allow yung sharing ng accounts. So normally, i-deactivate namin yung account ni teacher 1 para hindi na siya maka-access ng table hub natin. Then si teacher 2, we will create a new account for teacher 2, mag-create ng email address for UMAC. Then we're going to assign yung teacher 2 dun sa mga courses na naka-assign kay teacher 1. So there will be no sharing of accounts since new accounts will be created. So di-disable lang natin or di-deactivate lang natin yung account ni teacher 1 para wala na siyang means para mag-modify ng mga courses.
Okay po. So ibig sabihin din sir noon, kapag halimbawa may access na si teacher 2, yung mga existing na nakalagay na materials, makikita niya pa rin po. Tama
Yes,
po ba?
sir. Yes, sir. Kung ano yung create ni teacher 1, kung ano yung whatever yung na-start niya or ano yung mga na-upload niya na content, yun na rin yung ma-access ni teacher 2. We won't be deleting yung courses kasi naka-enroll yung mga students doon eh. So we will just add teacher 2 as a new teacher doon sa courses na yan.
Sige po sir, thank you po. Salamat sa response.
Question sa chat, Sir Jonathan, pwede bang mag-enroll ng participants sa newly created course? Yes sir, pwede po yun. Once you create a new course po, as a table hub coordinator, you have full access dun sa course na yun. So meaning you could enroll participants po. Ang hindi nyo lang magagawa as table hub coordinator pag yung mga courses na hindi nyo created. So if we're creating test course as a table hub coordinator, they have the options to enroll participants. Yung questions po ni Sir Jonathan Bonaobra. So, pwede po to, itong mag-enroll ng participants sa newly created course. Any questions pa po related sa coordinator or manager role po?
Ay, Sir Junard, hello po.
Yes, sir.
Sir Junard, yung ano po, hindi naman po ito question, pero yung sa atin kasi pag nag-log tayo sa TBL Hub, ano doon pa rin yung learning, flexible learning, yung evaluation po.
Yes, sir.
Pwede na po ba nating tanggalin yon or paano po ba?
Sa site home ba yan, sir? Ito?
Opo, opo.
Flexible.
Yes po.
Yes, sir.
Kasi
Pwede naman nating
Okay po.
itanggalin to. Remove ko na ngayon.
Tapos po, yung question ko po, Sir Junard, hanggang ngayon po, may mga estudyante pa rin daw na hindi nila nagagamit yung forgot password.
Yung forgot password, sir, ni-report ko na siya, sir, sa provider kasi it will require yung provider to fix yung email na yun. Reported na siya. They're trying to purchase an email server for that. Siguro by start ng first semester ng new school year, fix na yan. I'll just follow up this week again, sir, para dun sa ano na yan. Pero ni-report ko na yan. They're just trying to purchase an email server. Kasi in process ng renewal yata right now, sir. Kaya hindi pa sila maka-move in purchasing email server para ma-accommodate yung bulk ng email transactions natin. So, ang nangyari kasi, sir, possible na hindi na kayang i-accommodate ng email server natin yung email transaction ng tblhub. Kaya hindi na nagka-function yung email ni tblhub. Yung mga forget password, hindi nakakapag-submit. So, they just need to update yung email server natin. So, they already know yung ano natin, yung provider natin. Na-inform ko na naman sila about that issue. A month ago, since not check ko na rin yan, since maraming emails na hindi sila makapag-reset ng password, wala silang receive ng email. So, report ko sila by June yata. Wala pang action right now since tingin ko hinihintay pa nila yung renewal before they buy yung email server.
Okay.
I'll just follow up, sir.
Thank you po, sir.